Hi, welcome to our class. Today we will discuss factoring polynomials by grouping. What you should be familiar with before this lesson. Factoring a polynomial involves writing it as a product of two or more polynomials. It reverses the process of multiplying polynomials. You should be especially familiar with taking common factors using the distributive property. For example, 7x squared minus 14x equals 7x times x minus 2. What you will learn in this lesson. In this lesson, you will learn how to use a factoring method called grouping. Factoring by grouping is another method for factoring expressions, especially those with at least 4 terms. The method begins with grouping two expressions together in a grouping symbol. The following steps would then involve the concept of factoring by the greatest common factor, or GCF, which you have learned earlier. Steps in factoring by grouping. Step 1. Group the terms in the parenthesis as a sum. Step 2. Factor out the greatest common factor, or GCF in each group. Step 3. Factor out the common binomial. Step 4. Continue factoring, if possible. Let us have this example. Factor 2x cubed plus 10x squared plus 3x plus 15. First, notice that there is no factor common to all the terms in the given polynomial. However, if we group the first two terms together and the last two terms together, each group has its own GCF or greatest common factor. The GCF of the first group is 2x squared and the GCF of the second group is 3. We can factor these out to obtain the following expression. 2x squared times x plus 5, plus 3 times x plus 5. Notice that this reveals another common factor between the two terms, which is the binomial, x plus 5. We can use the distributive property to factor out this common binomial factor. 2x cubed plus 10x squared plus 3x plus 15 equals x plus 5 times 2x squared plus 3. Since the polynomial is now expressed as a product of two binomial, it is in factored form. Also, the two factors are prime. We can check the answer by multiplying and comparing it to the original polynomial. Let us have the second example. Factor 2cd minus c, minus 6d plus 3. There is no factor common to all terms of the given polynomial. However, if we group 2cd minus 6, and negative 6d plus 3, each group will have a common factor. The GCF of the first group is c, and for the second group the GCF is negative 3. Notice that we changed the plus sign to minus sign. We selected negative 3 as the GCF of the second group, so that the other factor of the second group will be the same with the other factor of the first group. As you can see, both groups contain the common binomial factor 2d minus 1. We can use the distributive property to factor out this common binomial factor. Therefore, the factored form of 2cd minus c, minus 6d plus 3 is 2d minus 1 times c minus 3. Next example. Factor x cubed minus 3x squared minus 25x plus 75. Group x cubed minus 3x squared, and group negative 25x plus 75. The GCF of the first group is x squared, and for the second group the GCF is negative 25. The resulting expression will be x squared times x minus 3, minus 25 times x minus 3. Factor out the common binomial x minus 3. The result is x minus 3, times x squared minus 25. X squared minus 25, is an example, of difference of two squares, which can be factored as, x minus 5 times, x plus 5. Therefore, the factored form of the given polynomial, is x minus 3, times x minus 5, times x plus 5. To summarize our lesson, take note of the following. Consider factoring by grouping, when you have at least 4 terms in the given polynomial. Make sure that group terms have a common factor. Factoring out a binomial is one of the key steps in this method. I hope you learned something new today. Thank you and God bless.